I'm rolling because I love to catch everyone off guard. Here, I'll show you.
I'm trying
We're
to
in the
help the clear. Look at that.
We're in the backyard over here.
That's nice.
That's where we should be.
I did this for jealousy, so the whole time you're looking at me, you're miserable.
I'm already miserable. You're just making it. You're adding salt to the wound.
Yeah, we've been stuck in here for so long.
Oh my goodness!
Even my kids more than me.
I feel like this is a marriage counseling meeting.
It probably won't turn that way.
How you two doing for real?
Good.
Not bad at all.
You know?
Considering.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
You?
How about you?
I'm good. I've been doing a ton of podcasts.
Yeah. Good.
Between 80 and 90 degrees here. We got a pool here. They let me in the gym. So I can't complain with that. And we've been eating a lot, and that's all I got for you.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, my outings are visits to the therapist, the physical therapy, because I had knee surgery.
Yeah.
In January, so I'm recouping from that, and that's the only time I get out.
Wow.
So that's exciting as all I want to bring up.
We do a lot of walking at night, me and Rhea. So I do that. Truthfully, when I'm in town, when I travel, I work. But when I was in town, I had my freedom. So for me, it's actually not much different. For everybody else, it is. I mean, if you exclude going to LA Fitness, Starbucks, or hanging out with my daughters in restaurants. But
yeah.
Florida, it's always nice out, so it's not like it's just a different lifestyle, honestly. It's weird. It's not like Chicago where you guys you had your whole winter ahead, behind you, and then you're ready to start enjoying your life because spring and summer. Here, it's not like that, so it's getting nice by you probably, and you guys want to go out and do, and you can't. You've had a long year.
Yeah.
We haven't.
Days it's like 39 degrees, and we just had a couple of little flurries, believe it or not.
I mean, we had a mild winter, so that's good. We've been spending time outside. I've been trying to take the dog for a walk, but like I said, I'm can't do much anyway because of my knee. So in a sense, everybody else is in quarantine with me because I can't do much. But
Right.
in the other sense, it's like I gotta work. I can't stay home anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy times, this Corona stuff.
One thing I've been doing, though, you doing the podcast, I've been trying to do some videos. That's one thing I'm trying to do. One thing I hate doing, but I'm trying.
Yeah, this kind of actually worked to my advantage as far as being able to record people and do podcasts or do videos, because for the most part, I was always traveling. It was my schedule that sucked between all the flights and the hotels and just not having time to do it. It was either I had to do them too early in the morning or everybody was kind of tired, including me. It was too late at night. So, but now everybody's available. So it's a lot funner to do, and we can do it according to what's available for everyone, if that makes sense. So sometimes I'll do these at 9 in the morning. If someone wants noon, I could do them at 10 o'clock at night. It's irrelevant to me, but I'm always available, which has been nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like in your case, I just said, what time do you guys want to do it? Or what time am I, it's simple, right? To a certain degree. So
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We did a previous podcast, but it did not work out the way I wanted. We had the puppy in there, which I loved, but then we had technical difficulties. We had people coming in and out of the house. Then it was recording and it wasn't recording, where hopefully we get the good footage now. Plus I get video.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right. All right, so let's jump into this. A lot of times I start with kind of the whole history of how people have started with whatever endeavor they're on. I don't like to get too pitchy or bullshitty. And you two kind of did this together. So I just want to kind of jump in to the original ClassiCurl 100% BOAR bristle rollers, how you came up with the idea, truthfully. And I know you're a hairstylist, and my family, a lot of hairstylists, including my father at one time, was like the number one hairstylist in Chicago. I heard at one time he even brought the blow dryer. He was the first one in Chicago. So I've been involved with the hair industry a little bit with my aunts as well, doing the film industry and television. Mina, you were a hairstylist, and then you decided it's time to kind of become an entrepreneur or solopreneur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been doing hair over 30 years.
Yeah.
And all girls like to have a little volume in their hair. And I used to use velcro rollers, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but I never liked them because they would cause static, get caught in my hair, the teeth and the, you know, the Velcro rollers, my hair would get caught in them and cause static and didn't really do much. And I noticed, gosh, in the last more like 10 years, a lot of stylists were doing, you know, the blowout is the big thing now.
Sure.
And getting a good round brush blowout is not so easy to do if you're not a stylist, or even doing it on yourself. It's harder than, you know, somebody doing it for you. And a lot of stylists were using brushes to set hair, meaning they're blowing the hair out, but they were leaving the brushes in the hair to get the volume. Because when you're drying your hair, you're using a heated setting. But when you let the hair cool while it's around the brush, that's where you set and lock in the volume and or the curl, depending on the barrel size you use and the length of your hair. So anyway, as a stylist, I was a booth renter for many years. And for me to do those brush set blowouts, I would need, it's usually about a dozen a head. Again, depending on length and density and size barrel you're using. And to have all those brushes in different barrels, I ran into a lot of problems. First of all, it's the cost, having all those brushes.
Sure.
All there was storage space. So basically I developed these rollers so they look like a round brush without a handle. So kind of like replacing Velcro rollers. And although not everybody was using Velcro rollers to get volume in their hair, this tool is awesome to use because if you have a hard time manipulating a round brush in your hair, it's much easier to just grab a section of hair and wrap it than it is to actually manipulate a round brush and blow dry it. You know, especially now, with not being able to get into the salon, it's a great tool to use at home to get the blowout and try to, you know, mimic what your stylist did in the salon. And so that's it. I've, you know, been working on it for a few years. I try to, you know, do as much as I can on my own because I've been in this industry so long. I know a lot of people, but I realized you can't do it on your own. So I started with a sales group team, BNC. There's about 15 reps around the country that I joined with this past summer. And also just started working with, in November, marketing a company. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, really, it's Willow Beauties, great company. She she's local, that's great too. She lives in Bartlett, and so I can talk to her anytime, and she's got a wealth of knowledge. She's been in the industry a little bit longer than myself, but does the other side, the marketing side, which is like foreign to me. But I'm learning a lot from her, and again, I've been doing, being that I'm home, I'm trying to make the most of this time, and I know one of the big things is the YouTube videos, and that was never one of my favorite things to do. I really dragged my feet to do those, but now I put a couple out, and I'm working on a couple more because I know people need to see the product in action, you know.
Yeah, so describe to what the Classy roller is. So like so start from the beginning. How did you come up with the design and everything from top to bottom kind of? You know, you had obviously trials and errors and just developing that, because a lot of people, I think, want to start their own business, become an entrepreneur, or just create something in the hair industry. It could be a different style brush, could be anything, but how you started with that and developed it into what it is.
Well, so one of the first things I did, I had Velcro rollers. Velcro rollers are like 2.5 inches in length. Well, I wanted the length of my roller to mimic the barrel of a brush, which is about 4 inches. I mean, there's some 5-inch brushes. And we do what's called a mohawk section down the center. So now having those rollers 4 inches, it's nice. You could do less sectioning. You do one section down the center. So I was literally taping or cutting some Velcro rollers and taping them together. So I got the length, but I still didn't like the plastic nubs because, again, my hair is fine and it would get caught in the teeth and just cause static. And in the salon, we'd get lint caught to the Velcro, never really good. And I always thought, why can't we do bristles? And I know in my experience that, you know, there's many kinds of brushes, but the two main that we use is nylon or BOAR. Well, nylon is could be very damaging to the hair, especially if your hair, when your hair is wet, it stretches like a rubber band and can snap. And if you have too much tension while you're doing a blowout with a nylon bristle brush, you get breakage and cause damage. Where boar bristles are a lot healthier for your hair. They don't give that much tension. They smooth the hair cuticle. So I knew I wanted to get the bristles on the roller, like a brush.
Gotcha.
And just not trial and error, the hardest part in this whole endeavor by far was finding a manufacturer.
Sure.
Unfortunately, boar bristles are not manufactured in the United States. Doing research, the brush company that I really liked was out of South America, Colombia. Well, obviously you can't do any business down there. And so, doing more and more research kind of was one of the bigger ones. And I found this plastic through a woman's, thanks for doing full screen back. During this, I belonged to a women's roundtable, and one of the women there, she would make doll clothes and had a manufacturer that made plastic hangers.
Yeah.
So he's my first manufacturer, and they came out pretty good. The cost was pretty high, but after a couple of years, meeting more people in the industry. There's a company from our international out of Canada. They make color products like tint bowls and brushes and foils and clips. I met them a few years back, about 3 years ago. Nice group of guys. They shared their manufacturer. And so I've been with this new manufacturer for a few years now. I tweaked the product a little bit more. And I'm very happy with them. So, like I said, it's just a lot of trial and error, a lot of waking up in the middle of the night and writing stuff down, how I was going to do the bristle placement and all that. And I was great. And
but what about even your first prototype?
Oh, yeah, the first prototype I had made.
I got it, Rich. I got it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Gosh, there's so much. I mean, it's, yeah.
Wait. Did you test the rollers on Victor's head for starters? Is that how this whole thing
right. No, I have some not so pretty pictures of myself with my first endeavor of taping velcro rollers together and all that. But when I had it's funny because I didn't know where to start. I was reading the article in the paper about patent attorneys. And why I started there, I just assumed I would need a patent. But that's really not the way to start. But that's kind of how I started.
Sure.
And that patent attorney said, you need a working prototype. You need an engineer to make it. I'm like, okay, well, where do I find one? He referred me to a gentleman out of an Addison. You know where Addison is, not far from there. And one in the city. I went and talked to him, and Vic's awesome with sketching. So he did all the sketching work for me because I can explain everything, but I'm not a good sketcher. So he sketched it all out and basically made the plastic barrel on a 3D printer. And then he's like, you need to do research about bristles. Sure. And that's when I found out that they don't harvest them in the US. It's literally, they shave boar hair. It's boar hair.
Right.
And so I couldn't get any. So basically he took one of my favorite brushes and had interns literally rip the bristles out of the brush and put them in this plastic barrel that he made with 3D printer. So I had a working
one by one. I'm putting them in there.
I thought you guys just started say you had the brush. I thought you just snapped the handle off. That was a test, but obviously it's not. That's what I thought.
No, because that's too heavy.
Too heavy, right? I got you.
My main concern was to make this roller as light in weight as possible and to grip as best as possible. Mm-hmm. So I knew just cutting a handle is not going to work, and I need to be able to clip it. So, like I said, so I got this working prototype right before a big hair show that I heard of from a woman in Miami that they used to manufacture those brushes out of, get them out of Colombia. And the show at the time was only about maybe 10 years old, if that. And it's one of the biggest in the world. And then we've gone since 2013 every year. Mm-hmm. And what I realized is this was originally a show that changed into, it's called ClassiCurl North America, because the original ClassiCurl was in Bologna, and they've been doing it for like, I don't know, 25 to 50. I think they just celebrated, was it 50 years? I don't know, something crazy. And I thought Las Vegas was huge. This is like 4 times the size.
Wow.
Because all of Europe going. I mean, that's just one of my dreams the last 5 years, is to go to that show. It's in March every year in Bologna. Obviously, not this year, but every year I say next year I'm going to that show, because that was really cool. I got to go there and talk to brush manufacturers and yeah, go from there. Excuse me.
So yeah, you and Victor kind of husband-wife team, you know what I mean? Kind of attack this thing. Because I was with Victor, I think in the infancy, we were working together then when you really started to do this. And it took a lot of time and effort, obviously. I'm sure a lot of frustration too, because it's not easy just to be married. A lot of load taking on an endeavor.
You killed me a couple hundred times already.
Oh gosh.
So on your, Victor, it takes a lot for somebody, because I know Rhea goes nuts with all my crazy projects. If it's a book, a program, an app, did you love the idea you were just behind your wife the whole time, or do you think?
Yeah, I think it's sorry to jump in on you.
No, go ahead.
It's a great idea. You know, again, I know more. Not being a hairdresser, I know more than most, you know, because of my wife.
Sure.
And I've been to everything with her, her career, and there's just nothing like it. You know, there's absolutely nothing like it, and everything about it makes sense.
Sure.
You know, I wish I could be a model for her in some way for her to use me, but it just is not happening. I just go along as the eye candy.
Yeah, and
he's at my booth at all the shows. I mean, even when I had to leave my booth, he just
you know me in trade shows. I just bring people in.
You do.
Talked for me, and you know, people left cards, and I connected with them later. I mean, he did a good job when I finally did exhibit in 2017.
Yeah,
a lot of contacts. It was a great show. Got a lot of recognition. I wish I had. I know hindsight's always 20/20, right? But I wish I had marketing in place to really still ride that wave. But I thought, again, that I could do it myself. And I realized I couldn't. But,
you know, everything's just ever evolving, you know?
Yeah, and it wasn't like you did this previously, right? You kind of started this with a blank slate. You really never started your own business to this level. You never created something, from the patent rights to copyrights to marketing to everything, and all the funding it takes on a personal level, right? And the frustration, because every time I start new projects, it's always out of my own pocket, right? Unless you had investors. But I think you two did this together, correct? This is all you.
Just friends and family investing, though. Financially help from friends and family, all family. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to take. It's hard to do everything on your own.
Yeah, the ups and downs emotionally, I think what happens too, even if I was making a film or whatever, when you're married again, you have kids, you don't realize, especially if you're doing stuff together, you're having a good day. Like you look at it one way, and the other one's looking at it in another. So one's looking at it, oh yeah, we're moving, this is successful. And the other one's like, this ain't shit. This ain't where I wanted to be, right? You're kind of, I should be here. No, you shouldn't. You're doing great. No, I'm doing, you know what I mean? So you're always.
Yeah.
I have to say that, you know, I think back at when I first went to the hair show and I was talking to people, I had already a rep talking to one of the biggest buyers in the country, Cosmoprof at the time. And I remember going back and forth with pricing.
Sure.
And you know, obviously it fell through because I wasn't going to back down on the pricing. And I thought, holy cow, thank God I did not, because I've learned so much from then till now. It's huge. So now I know I'm constantly reading books and listening to audio books and all that, and trying to, always better myself and learn more about business and that. Which I love. Like I said, I grew up with entrepreneurs. I've had my own salon for 10 years, but it's not on the same scale, obviously, of what I'm doing now.
Sure.
I've learned so much and I enjoy learning it. And yeah, I mean, obviously, if I knew then what I knew now, you know what I mean? Things would be quicker, but there's, it's going to happen when it's going to happen. You know what I mean? I think I'm more ready now than ever. And now partnering up with this gal, I feel like it's going to, we're going to move forward on this now. It's going to really start to take off.
Yeah, and Mina, having Victor, let's call for what it is, who is known for being one of the nicest guys in the damn world, right? I mean, let's call for what it is. Having someone, he is on a positive note all the time. He's not like a typical greaseball that's screaming at his wife, getting nuts, where, like a lot of times how we get crazy. Victor, and I've worked with Victor, always on the positive.
Hands out. I mean, I surround myself with good people, and, as you get older, you just start to realize, who's like negative, who's, and who you need in your corner. And obviously I could not have done anything without his support. You need at least one person in your corner, and he's been that for me. Obviously, he's good like that. He's always been a lot more calmer than I am. I grew up in that Italian household with the dad always yelling and the mom, but I definitely, have that support from him, and I definitely would not have gotten this far without him. No way.
Yeah. So, man, that's wonderful. This did ended up being a marriage counseling meeting.
I mean, you put us on a pretty good day.
Yeah, this ain't bad.
He's so great. Yeah. So they're like, you don't get it. You don't understand what I'm going through,
No, and Mina, let's go back a little bit too, because you met so many people on this endeavor, including the dude from Shark Tank and all these other people that really loved your product. It wasn't just you two and family members, friends, and colleagues. You kind of started meeting people that truly believed in your product, that kind of kept motivating you to keep moving forward.
Right. I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities come my way, and it's good. Some better than others. And, like I said, you said it right. I do have people like a lot in my industry that believe in me and believe in my product, and one thing I've learned, again, marketing to me is Greek to me, and I get it now. Like not even in the hair business, just in general, I'm a big fan of Shark Tank. You see so many products out there, and you're like, really, this product made this amount of money?
Sure.
And it's all, I mean, you can have a not so great product, but you have the best marketing, and I'm a sucker. I'll buy anything. If you market to me, I like it, I buy it.
She will.
And me, I feel like I have a great product, solves problems, and help, it's a better mousetrap and all the above, something new and innovative and all that stuff. But again, if people don't know it's out there, you're not going to sell it. And that's why I finally got the right people in place just in the last few months to now really bring it out there to show people, what it is, what it does. Another great thing that I just started, there's a subscription company called Hello Salon Pro. It's strictly for professionals.
Okay.
Just like other subscription companies, I think it's once every other month. So it's 6 times a year. I think the subscription is $29.99, and you get, I believe, 5 products. And it's good on both sides. First, for the person, the entrepreneur, or the business, or the company that's bringing a product to market, because you're getting them into the hands of stylists. It's like, I think they have right now 250 stylists and 50 influencers in their program right now.
Okay.
So you get out to 300 people across the country. And the second thing is, so you get everybody to try it, but then you get testimonials and all that comes with it. So this is a really good step. This I'm in the April 30th, they call it box, but people have been starting to get it this whole month. We were a little leery because of what's going on, but the company's really good. They're based out of Madison, Wisconsin. I think they have an office in LA as well, but they're like 3 companies. They have a marketing, a digital company, and then this subscription company. So like Read the Teas, shout out to all of them, and Hello Salon Pro, and Brands That Evoke, or Ideas That Evoke. I'm sorry, that was their other company. And they reached out to all their customers and say, where are you? Like, because I don't know if some their customers were getting their boxes sent to their salon. With salons being closed, they made sure to reach out, where do you want this box this month? So I took that little worry off of me, thinking, are they even going to get them? You know, so I'm sure they'll get them to their house if they were getting them at their salon now. So I'm looking forward to getting all that feedback and moving forward with that. Hopefully, you know, that like will snowball and, you know, and get things moving more, you know, more.
Yeah.
Excited about that.
Yeah, when you first started this, were you looking at the big picture, like I want to be in Walmart, Target, Sally's? Were you looking at doing it independently, or were you looking at mass production? Were you just looking at hitting salons? I mean, you've through your website.
I believe it's a prestige product.
Okay.
Because first off, well, and I believe it is. I mean, the boar bristles are expensive. Okay, so first of all, the hair on a boar, the most expensive or the better bristle is the hair closest to the body. They call it either first cut or C-cut boar. So I have a high quality boar bristle. And I noticed in the research I've done over the years, some boar bristle brush companies will say 100% boar bristle, which they're not lying. Some of the bristles on their brush are 100% boar bristle, but they're also mixed with nylon bristles.
Gotcha.
So I was adamant to have 100% boar bristle. That's it.
No
nylon.
fillers, right.
And that's in your logo. That's literally in your logo. I mean, that's your slogan. I'm sorry. Your logo with your slogan, you say 100%, right?
Exactly, boar bristle. That was important to me. And like I said, you know, you may have to educate some of the population about this, but hairdressers know that that's, you know, it's a good, good to have that. But, you know, after a while, people understand it, that it's better for the hair. So it is a prestige product. So I wasn't thinking the Walmart, the Targets and all that. I was thinking more like maybe Ulta and Sephora. And I've been back and forth with my strategy. At first I thought I'm going to go for the professionals, even though they might not do quote unquote big blowouts daily, but at least they could show their clients, hey, listen, I know I'm doing this with the brush on your hair, but when you go home and throw a couple rollers in their hair and retail them in their salon so they can make money, and they're educating their clients, and when their clients' hair looks good, they're like a walking billboard for their stylist. So it's like a win-win. The stylists in. So that was my go-to-market strategy, dealing with the professionals and like trickle down to the non-professionals, to like the Ulta. But I've changed back and forth so many times because stylists, sometimes we're stubborn, like hard to kind of penetrate into that market. Some people are just like, you know, what they're using now, and there's some stylists that love new and innovation and a new way. Like maybe they won't do everybody's hair in these rollers, but maybe they'll incorporate a set with a, you know, we'll do a lot of curling iron, and what stylists will do is they'll pin the curls with a hairpin. So like I was saying earlier, to let the hair cool, because if you curl somebody's hair and let it go, the hair falls flat and it doesn't take part of the curl. So there's another way you can use it. You could curl the hair and then set it with the rollers. So a lot of stylists, or some stylists, like to have different options of making their job easier or even helping their clients out and stuff like that. So again, I'm reading a lot and I go back and forth. So sometimes I'm like, okay, should I cast a wide net and do less, or go, they call it, go low, go small and deep. So I go back and forth. I think now as I move forward with this, this marketing company, this sales reps, this subscription company, we'll just see how it pans out. I mean, we are definitely hitting the beauty supply stores. We're hitting them well. And I think once we build traction with that, I'd love to hit Ulta. I mean, it's right in my backyard.
Sure.
And Ulta and Sephora, but not like the Walmarts and the Targets and that. I think more high-end, more prestige or mastige is what they call it.
Yeah.
And I got a funny story.
Go ahead.
Oh, boy.
So we were coming home this past July, on the plane from Vegas on Southwest. And Vic and he had the aisle, I had the middle, and we had nobody by the window. And some girl kind of comes up and asks to come sit next to us. And I let her in. And Vic was noticing she had her band on from the trade show. I'm already just kind of chilling.
I'm an observer, Rich.
He really does. I'm always just like, let me get home. I'm tired, whatever. And he noticed it. So I thought, well, when she sat down, I kind of looked over at her and I thought maybe I'd say hello. Well, right away, she put her neck pillow on, earbuds on. That was it. I'm like, okay, I guess she doesn't want to talk. So 3.5 hours after the flight, takes everything off, and I just thought I'd say hi. So you're a hairstylist as well? She's like, no. She was, I'm a buyer for Ulta.
What are the odds? Yeah.
A buyer for Ulta.
3.5 hours. You sit there.
And I couldn't.
Here I am, as she's talking, I'm handing her business card over her shoulder.
So I didn't want to I did a little quick 30-minute little elevator pitch.
That ain't bad.
And 30-second, I'm sorry.
I know what you meant.
So, and then as she's like, oh, okay. But she's in the liquid, so she's not in the tools, but that's fine. I don't care. But anyway, and then before I could even say anything, here, like I said, here's my card coming over my shoulder for Vic to give it to her. So it was funny. I didn't hear from her, but I do know, again, learning a lot. A lot of the buyers, they go through buyers. I've been talking with this through another rep, a friend of mine. He has brands in Ulta, Kroger, and all that stuff. He works for a big sales rep group. He has his own company. He does the retail. They do the professional distribution. And we've been talking since March of 2015. And I was not ready at that point, and we finally sat down, and I was ready, and I was with this company for about a year, and they only took me on because I was friends with this gentleman. His name is Scott. Well, they got me a meeting with Sally's, which I went right before that 2017 show in Vegas when I exhibited at that CosmoProf North America show. Well, anyway, everything went great, went to there. Well, in the meantime, this CosmoProf was going through they're redoing everything in their corporation. They were going to be making their stores more liquids, meaning shampoos, gels, and colors, and less on tools, skincare, makeup, nail care, and sundries. So that's kind of when it fell through. And all the buyers that I've talked to have since gone. So my point is, back with Ulta, I think since 2015, I personally know that they've gone through 3 buyers. Yeah. So, and the buyers now are younger generation, millennial, and they do things a little different now. There's something called Range Me. It's a newer platform. I don't know if you've heard of it. No. It's basically where people like me, manufacturers and buyers, it's like the minute that you go on their website, you submit. So there's really like no more meeting person in person. You got to submit through this Range Me. Right. And so this gal, Felicia, through Willow Beauties, that's helping me with my marketing, she also has relationships with buyers there. And we're just basically waiting for the right time at this point. Because you only, you want to make a good first impression, you only get one shot, right?
Sure.
So basically with me trying all these new things with marketing and that, we want to wait to get some traction going there and then do a nice presentation and reach out to Ulta. That's my ultimate goal. And then I obviously be international as well, but one can only dream, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think these blowout salons now, because like Rhea even became a member of them, they do these monthly subscriptions, I think. Has that helped you or hurt you now that those would be, because since you started this, I don't think the blowout craze was as big as it is now. Now they seem to be popping up, at least in Florida, everywhere.
Oh, they're everywhere. Like I said, I think it's 10, 15 years. I know at least the last 5 years, they're gotten bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And actually I met a manager of one of I thought it was the first one. It's called Dry Bar.
Yeah.
That's the owner since sold. She's from New York, went to Florida to California, whatever. She's been on Shark Tank. Allie, I forget her last name, awesome person. And actually Felicia, the girl I'm working with at Hello Salon Pro, at Willow Beauties, knows the CEO of Dry Bar. And to answer your question, it would actually be awesome to work in tandem with them. And I finally went, and I've always wanted to get a good blowout, getting my own hair done. I never treat myself. I just have a girl in my salon, throw my color on. I'll come home sometimes and wash it myself. I'm never a customer. So anyway, I met this gal over New Year's, at a New Year's Eve party, and she happened to be a manager of the one in Naperville.
Okay.
Of the Dry Bar in Naperville.
Yeah.
So I went in and I talked to the girls there. They're all excited. I met another girl that worked for them, and now she's at Sephora, and she worked for Dyson, and they're all excited about it. And again, we want to eventually talk to the CEO of Dry Bar, but again, we're waiting. It's timing. Especially now with what's going on, it's actually pushed it back a little bit more,
Sure.
But actually working on other things. So that's in the pipeline to do that and talk. So we have a lot of things that would be incredible actually because they could private label them.
Wow.
And then that would be a good testimony when you talk to the salon distribution and other hairdressers. You could say, hey, Dry Bar cakes them. And just by that alone, they have so much, buying power. Yeah. That would be a great thing to happen. Yep.
Would they use them for their client, or would they sell them, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Actually, they even have velcro rollers now in their salon, and or if the girl, when she was doing my hair, she was, like I was saying earlier, curling it and pinning it.
Okay.
Which that could be a little floppy depending on the length of the hair. It's easy. Like I have a video out when I curl, like second day hair. My hair is fine and frizzy and curly. So second day hair, I have to get some oomph back into it. I might curl it with a curling iron, but the main thing I do, especially on the top, is right after I curl it, I set it in the rollers. And you could see when I take them out, because they've cooled for a little while, how much huge volume I got in my hair. So they could use them in the salon and selling them. It's good for both stylists and the non-stylists.
If I was watching this, how do I try your curl? Where do I get it? Do I go to your website still, or would I have to go?
Right now it's just selling at ClassicCurl.com, and it's like the word classic and then URL right after it. So I just combine classic and curl. So ClassicCurl.com, and you can buy them on my website right now. And I also, I believe one of the pages, it should say if you're professional to reach out, because I do offer professional pricing.
Now, going through the coronavirus, more and more people are obviously doing their hair at home. They have to. Has this been helping your sales, hurting it because people don't have money, or they're testing things at home? How's that been working for you guys?
I noticed just before all the lockdown, I was getting some more traffic to my site. But again, the main thing is, I think it would even be more so if people knew about it. That's the main thing. I wish I would have done, the marketing a little sooner and videos sooner and promoted myself sooner. But
where is all that?
What?
You have an Instagram.
Oh, besides all that, I do have it. I have photos.
But if you tell them,
yes,
people
I know.
Will hear.
Obviously, I do have an Instagram page, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, all ClassiCurl. Is ClassicCurl, and that's where you can find me. You can find all some videos, some pictures, YouTube, all that. And I'm working on. I don't have much. I have some, and I'm hoping. I would love to do. We're stylists. We have contests, and they showcase their work using my rollers. Yeah. And like I said, win-win. People could see what could be done with my rollers with other people, because hairdressers were creative people, and some other hairdresser might do something better than I could even do, or or have a client with the perfect hair and just does a real cool style with it. I'd love for them to showcase their work and also showcase what my rollers can do.
Absolutely. Your logo, that picture of the there's you, but then also the I don't know what you'd call it with the slogan, that is almost unforgettable. It's really unique. I want to use that for the cover page for YouTube. How'd you develop that?
That's a cool story too. So anyway, a friend of mine is in packaging and displays, and
Dale Patty of the Patty Group.
Oh yeah, you know him.
Do I?
Do you know him?
I don't know if he knows him or not.
Oh, I don't.
I forget everybody.
I thought at some point you met him. Anyway, close. Anyway, he's in the Resicom. Anyway, building. We used to work out next to him. Greatest guy. And when I first started talking to him, he told me about a company, something called Logo Tournaments, logotournament.com. It's really cool. So basically, I go online, I fill out this questionnaire because I didn't know what I wanted, and it basically colors that I like, ideas that I like, and I fill it out, and it goes out to designers around the world, and they submit their ideas.
This is awesome.
I was getting some from Greece and everywhere. It was great. The one I went with was somebody out of Boston.
East Coast, yeah.
Boston. And at first the hair was, I think, brown, and I'm like, oh, do it black, and I like the red lips, so it's red, black, and white. And when in naming this company, I always loved classic Hollywood, like Bridget Bardot, the big, little Hollywood hair. So I always thought, oh, classic, because I think that's just always, there'll be classic hairstyle. So then I did, classic curl. So that's kind of how I came up with the name, and then they came up with the logo. We tweaked a little bit, and that's how we got it. And,
and the one you picked, and then they got a certain amount of money, a fee, like you paid, right, or something.
So basically, what I paid to go, so they make the money. Whoever they win,
they're not doing it for nothing.
They win the contest. And whatever I paid to go in it. And I think there was different tiers, and I picked like a middle one, not like the highest. I think it might have cost me like $400. And give or take. And that's how, so that was a cool process. That was fun to do.
That was great. I mean, I'm not just saying that, it's vintage mixed with modern. It kind of goes with everything. It also looks like it's been around, truthfully, for a century. You know what I mean? It has that type of brand where it reeks of, how would I say it? It's just rich. It looks great. It looks like it belongs in the industry. You see so many other products coming out, like, oh my goodness, you could tell this is new, this is cheesy, this is shitty. They did this wherever, but yours looks really good. And then when you did yours, how'd you come up with your logo, with the photo of you? I mean, you did a photo shoot, or who came up with this?
Yeah. So everybody says, you need a headshot, professional headshot. And so I referred to a woman at the women's round table that I belong to, referred this photographer, G. Thomas Ward. He would go by his middle name. Anyway, great photographer, north side, like almost Skokie. No. Almost Evanston.
Like Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, right. Oh, north side of Chicago. And Vic and I went. Great professional guy. So I just did a regular headshot, obviously, for all my, like LinkedIn and all that. But then we did some fun shots with my rollers to use on other social media platform sites. And so that was fun to do, actually. I don't usually like to get my photos done, but he made it, he made it fun, and I'm happy to showcase my rollers and that as well. Yeah,
I think it definitely brought out your personality. It's not too over the top where it looks almost unreal. Like you look like that. It looks like you have fun. I love that photo of you. Oh my goodness. I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, but I want to get back to, I usually bring up fitness stuff. So I know you two are CrossFitters, or used to be, Victor, and you injured yourself. Not
CrossFit, which I thought I was going to do. Always was careful because, everybody's hurting their shoulder. I was playing tennis, and I planted my foot, twisted. I tore my ACL and my meniscus. Was able to walk on it, was traveling, and finally had the surgery January 31st. So I don't have full mobility. I might have to go and have another procedure to break up the scar tissue, which I'm not worried about. I really want to just move forward and get my knee back because I have to work out. I mean, mentally. And besides, all the food I've been eating while I'm sitting inside is not doing me any good. But mentally, I have to work out.
Are you going to go back to CrossFit? or are you just going to go?
I am not myself. I'm going to give it a little break. And I just want to get back to just doing some weights and cardio. I still play basketball and stuff. So that's where I want to be. I know.
I was back and forth. Because towards the end, I did CrossFit for 7 years. So I'm like, end of 2012 to 2017, and it's totally changed my body. And I think it's a great workout, especially if you have great trainers. But I had to, from end of September till I had my surgery, so for 4 months, still work out, because they said the better shape you are in before surgery, the easier to heal. So I just joined my local Park District gym, and I incorporated a lot of CrossFit moves in there. So I like that. I still did some, because towards the end of CrossFit, I'm like, oh my God, I just was not to say I enjoyed myself, but it was harder to get through the workouts mentally for me. So I think, I don't know, I might go back part-time, but it definitely would be slowly. But I definitely would stay at the Park District gym. I'd love to play tennis again. I loved kickboxing. I'd like to join like a 9 rounds. It's like 30 seconds in and out. Weekends to do that. I want to mix it up,
Yeah. Doing CrossFit, were you just bored, or were you just getting exhausted? Maybe it was the time you were working out. What was going on there? Why do you think I
just felt like, there's certain workouts I like better than others.
Sure.
And I felt like towards the end, it's like I like none of the workouts. Not to say everybody likes.
You've done them so many times, you think, too?
Yeah, and I felt like I hit a plateau. Yeah. Like he was always pushing the boundaries for strength, and I felt like I don't know that I need to really push myself strength-wise. I needed more endurance and stamina. I poop out too soon. I'm not a runner, and I feel like that's what I need to do more. And I felt like in the gym, all we're doing is going heavier and heavier and heavier. And although I didn't push myself, I stayed back. And we're getting older. Yeah, there's another thing. I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, it's like I can't go heavier, and nor do I really care to go heavier. I just want to be able to keep my stamina.
Is that what it's Zumba? Maybe you got to jump into that shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Zumba! No, I did Zumba a long time ago. That was fun.
You've done everything.
Yeah, I've done everything, but I do love. I used to do, Hido. So when I did that 9 rounds, I loved it because everybody said, "Oh, it's kind of like what are those older ladies go to those gyms where they go in and out." I forgot the name of them, but anyway, I'm like, oh, I don't think it's going to be for me. 9, but it was because it reminded me of CrossFit. It's short but intense.
Have you done it, Rich?
And,
what, Victor? Which one?
Any of like the kickboxing stuff at all?
No, just Mango. When we were younger, I was horrible at boxing. I was really good at wrestling, but I wasn't good at boxing. But I used to go because Jimmy, one of our close friend, my oldest close friend, he owns the boxing gym, and he's owned gyms for a while. Or I would just go with him.
Yeah.
But my coordination with boxing, I've lost a lot of that over the years. I think if you don't keep up with it, plus my shoulders from when I'm hitting the bag from so many years of working out, I tore my rotator's cuff. It almost takes more of a toll on me than I'm getting out of it. And maybe Victor, I think when I was talking to you last time for my mother's birthday party or whatever, we were talking about working out where in CrossFit, you may not be getting out of it what you're putting into it because you may not be it's just not there. You may not. Sometimes with working out, you got to evolve, so it could be redundant, or you just feel like you're going to injure yourself in the future, or your muscles are just not recuperating or getting the growth, or
CrossFit was on the body, absolutely. And like I said, I just doing a little break from it for now myself, and I miss it. I miss getting up early like that, getting a workout in, then having that energy all day long. There's nothing like it. But
and nice the camaraderie with the people,
Of course, it's social. Yeah. And it's competitive. You too.
Oh, very much.
Oh, yeah.
We all know Mina competes against you there.
Oh, my God. When he first started, he was, with a heart attack. He was just getting off of it, and I would be like yelling at him, like, hurry up. Like, I don't want to lose to other people, other couples. Like, go fast. And of course, when, after like a year or two in there, then he's just like cardio, like blowing past me and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, you suck. Because cardio was never my thing. I'm more a sprint, not long distance. I hate running. I try to like it. I will do it, but
Yeah.
I hate it.
I'm more strength too, but I can kind of do it all. I don't like running, but I've never stopped working out throughout my life. But Victor, which you brought it up, the heart attack, which is amazing because you weren't heavy. You don't seem to have a personality of stress to the level of like most people. You eat pretty well, I would presume. How did that come to be, and how did you kind of recover from that? Like, you were in decent shape, you had a heart attack, and then you kind of came out of it and got in shape as well. How did?
Yeah, again, I don't know the answer really. Why I had it, right? I mean, stress is big in everyone's lives, right? But
I have to interrupt 1 second. He was out at the Merc, and I think he internalizes some of the stress. But he's one of 4 boys. He has 3 brothers.
Yes,
not 2 brothers. So you put 7 of them, all of them in one room. I'm sorry, 6 of them. I didn't do the math right. In one room, like 8 years ago, before he had his heart attack, and said who's likely out of the 6 of them, he would be like number 6 if he did number them. The least likely, because my brothers are overweight. My brother smokes. His brothers are overweight.
I know the brothers. Yeah. I know your brothers. Yeah.
I think it's a freak. To me,
is it genetics?
The doctor said just happened.
Well, but he had a little bit of high blood pressure runs in his family. But look to me, after Bob Harper from The Biggest Loser, that's what he does for a living. Eat well. He's a trainer, and he had the left artery, the widowmaker, and you heard about that whole thing, right? Him having the heart attack. After him, if it could happen to him, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
So,
but it was humbling because what happened. I went through the rehab with the hospital, and went right from that right into CrossFit. And like I said, it was very humbling. Just as a person, not so much even a guy, you just think that this is no big deal. You could do it. Man, it kicked my butt every day, and it was a great path to be where I'm at. But I wish I didn't go through it. But it changed my life.
Well, he never really was a big working out guy, but he was always active. He loved to detail cars. He was not a couch potato. He was fit for most fit guy that I'd ever been with or dated or whatever, that never worked out but was always fit, because I think he played basketball and was always active. But when then he got into the CrossFit, and he's like in better shape now than he was 10 years ago,
Right.
So
that's great.
I mean, it's a good thing.
And a lot less hair.
Yeah, that's it. Gain muscle, lose
Can't
hair.
say the same.
Sorry.
It goes from the head to his ears.
Oh my! I'm looking at this thing. Rhea must have me programmed. I never went to Oregon Ducks. I'm laughing. I'm looking at this thing. Here's this thing. I'm like, what the? You think I went to? I'm like an alum.
I was gonna say, and I'm like, you're blending in with your background, all the greenery.
Who do you know? Is it a shout out to who? Is that a shout out to?
Yeah, I try to wear a different shirt every time you do a podcast, so they don't think you're doing all these the same day or whatever. You know what I mean? But I just grabbed this shirt. I'm like, I don't even remember getting this shirt. Where did this shirt come from? It was just it's a crazy world. All right. Well, thank you for giving me all that information. Anything else you want to talk about regarding the ClassiCurl or any of that stuff, or ClassiCurl?
No, I mean, I appreciate your doing this podcast.
Yes,
thank you. I could get my message out more,
For sure.
Yeah, it's always fun to talk to you and hang out with you. I mean, you got to come here again more often.
Well, we got to get up by him.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Actually, we better come by you.
Yeah, we got to flip it
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, real cheap. I got points.
Yeah.
All our stuff.
They probably right now, right? You can't
everyone steals my points, right? My daughters with the hotels and the airlines, Rhea, both my daughters, my mother, everybody. Everything was saturated. All my points were gone, right?
Yeah.
And Corona hits. I got them all back. I was like, yeah, I'm loaded again. I told Rhea, the flight comes up to Hawaii, legit, and they let us in. I think I'm just going to dip for a month. I said, I'll use up all my points because they're going to steal them anyways. But we really did have to cancel my daughter Donna's, Demi's, my mother's, and then a festival or whatever in South Florida. I'm trying to get the most unique people I know, but I want to show a side of you guys that nobody maybe has ever seen too. It's not like you get on a lot of times if you're doing a video on YouTube or whatever, it's so pitchy and not that fun, and it's kind of corny sometimes. And people, I mean, you guys know that as well. How many times you watch it and you're like, all right, I got to hear about, but more on a personal level. So that's why I love doing these podcasts. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got for you guys.
Yeah, I look forward, and we'll share it as well.
Yeah, and I'll write up this the information and email it to you, and whatever photo you want me to use for the cover. I love the ClassiCurl logo, but we could use whatever you'd like.
Okay,
Awesome.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right.
Nice talking to
Tell
you.
Ria we said hi.
Yes.
I will. All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.